The conventional wisdom today is that for companies to succeed in today's fast-paced world, that they have to be really good at managing big data, they have to be good at analytics, they have to be good at capturing all the information available to make decisions. There's a problem with that, which is that if we obsess over information and data, we get stuck in analysis paralysis, in this never-ending sort of loop of gathering more and more information, and we don't actually do anything. That observation led my co-author, Jonas Ridderstråle, and myself to develop a rather different point of view on the sources of competitive advantage in today's increasingly fast-paced world. We started with two observations. We said, first of all, analysis paralysis prevents us from getting anything done. The companies that succeed will not get bogged down in information. They will be exhibiting decisive action. They will know when to stop gathering information and when to start acting on it. Secondly, we made the observation that the trouble with information is that it gets reduced down to numbers, quantification. And the risk is that we end up making very sterile decisions when everything is reduced just down to numbers on a net present value analysis. So that led us to realize that, in fact, as well as doing all that, companies also have to put a premium on what we call emotional conviction. They have to be able to tap into their intuition, their gut, their deeper contextual understanding of an issue in order to make good decisions. So when you take a company like Amazon, Amazon is a very quantitative company at one level. They do lots of analysis, but they also know that if they're going to launch the Kindle, if they're going to get into movie making, they have to make intuitive and fast decisions in order to capture the opportunities and to create value in a timely way. So decisive action and emotional conviction, these are the kind of the twin engines of success in what we call fast forward companies. Let me suggest two or three ways in which that core idea can be applied in a practical way to companies in all industries and in all countries. First of all, in terms of addressing opportunities as they unfold, most companies are quite good at dabbling in new technologies, so-called disruptive technologies. What they're very bad at is knowing the point at which they need to move from dabbling to scaling up and actually doing something really decisive. The trick is to actually have an internal decision-making process which allows people to really go out on a limb and do something worthwhile rather than getting bogged down in a consensus-based process which will almost always delay you. So that's point number one. The second point I would make in terms of how we do things a little bit differently is I would say that we need to get smarter about coordination, how we get things done working with each other. In most companies, we have one of two afflictions. We either have coordination kind of by the rules. We call it bureaucracy. In other companies, we have a system of coordination through discussion and debate. We can't make any decision until we've had endless committees to decide between themselves what the right way forward is. That's often called meritocracy. My solution, our solution, is that in fact, alongside bureaucracy coordination through rules and alongside meritocracy coordination through knowledge, what we need is adhocracy, which is coordination around opportunities as they arise. There's a very, very practical example of that many companies are experimenting with right now, and that's what's called Agile. Agile started as a software methodology, and it's a way of working where we create small teams of people who work around a particular set of users or customers' needs, and they iterate very rapidly through a series of experiments to try to get a product out there that customer or that user group can use. So it is getting things done by experimenting around the needs of a particular customer, putting action first rather than debate or rules. The final point I will make is about leadership and about our ability as leaders of others to get people to try their new ideas out in the way that we've been talking about. Remember, if we want action, if we want creativity, if we want people to try new things, we've got to accept that not all those ideas will be successful. We've also got to accept that those sort of people, like Steve Jobs or like Elon Musk, are often somewhat unreasonable. They're the sort of people who have crazy ideas and they push them almost without regard to the people around them. So if we're going to actually get companies doing the sorts of things we're talking about, we need leaders, mid-level leaders, senior leaders, who are tolerant of these somewhat unreasonable people. They are able to understand that many, many initiatives will fail. They create an environment of safety where people can try their ideas out without fear that somehow they're going to lose their job. And ultimately, they are a very kind of sophisticated type of leader who is smart enough to understand how hard they can push people to try out their new ideas in order to create the ideas, the products, the services that will allow their companies to become fit for the future.